It's no great surprise that Psygnosis and DMA Design have opted to continue their incredibly successful Lemmings games.
Yeah, what surprises me is that instead of just putting out more and more original Lemmings levels, which would probably satisfy most players, the designers keep trying to genuinely improve on the basic model.
Part 3 of the silly saga, The Lemmings Chronicles, is on the shelves now, and it's definitely better than Lemmings 2 The Tribes, or at least a lot easier to grasp.
For those of you who are unfamiliar with these cute little green-haired guys,
Yeah, both of you.
the player has to maneuver the almost brainless title characters from point A to point B, or as many of them as possible. To overcome the obstacles in each level, you can give special skills to some of the lemmings like bricklaying or digging.
But wait, there's also a modicum of plot. The original Lemmings met up with various differently cultured cousins in Lemmings 2 The Tribes.
Yep, 12 different tribes and over 50 different skills. True, you only had to worry about 8 at a time, but I thought my head was going to explode with that darn game.
Well, we'll get to that later. But all of the tribes are currently in this big blimp trying to find new homes. The designers very cleverly decided to focus on only 3 tribes: Classic, Egyptian, and Shadow.
Which not only means less factors to worry about in gameplay, but also that there are 3 future sequels practically tailor-made. Way to plan, guys. Well, these lemmings look a little bit larger than the ones I'm used to.
Yeah, a lot of fuss has been made over the bigger Lemmings, but the manual makes it clear that they aren't actually any bigger, they're just closer.
A fine but important distinction.
A couple of interesting changes have been made in the gameplay. Most folks who've taken a shot at the first 2 games have probably gotten frustrated from time to time at something we'll call the blocker problem.
You mean how when you train a lemming to block, you can't get him to walk again, and you have to nuke him to let the others through? I hate that. It's a senseless waste of lemming life.
Well, in Chronicles, you can finally just instruct blockers to start walking again. They can be saved.
Hallelujah, brother!
Instead of you having to dole out all of the skills individually, there are some basics that everybody has, like blocking and jumping. Of course, you still have to tell the lemmings when to use them.
The specialized skills are in the form of tools lying around the level. The first lemming who finds one of these boxes will pick it up. If you don't want him to have that particular tool, you can tell him to drop it.
It's surprisingly easy to keep track of your worker lemmings. A right click turns them red and shows what tool they're carrying. You won't believe how important this is. Those little guys tend to bunch together a lot.
Yeah, I found it a lot easier to keep track of... Hold it. What the heck is that?
Well, it's a vulture, silly. I thought that was obvious. The lemmings aren't just battling your poor reflexes and their own stupidity anymore. They have real enemies to fight or avoid like the plague.
But I played this level. I don't remember any vultures.
That's because you're playing on Child's level, you wimp.
Well, Child's level's pretty hard too, you know.
I was just kidding. The puzzles on Child's level are just the same as on the adult level. There's just fewer monsters. Any kid who can get through all 90 of these levels has my undying respect.
Well, even on Child's level, I ran into this guy, the mole. He's not so much an enemy as just unpredictable and weird. He hates bricks. Don't ask me why. Lay down some bricks and he starts spinning and digging like a diamond drill gone out of control.
It's possible to make this work to your advantage, but it could also wreck some carefully constructed escape routes.
The sound is great. When you start a level, you get an enthusiastic, and when you have to nuke some lemmings, they obviously are not very happy about it.
On top of this, the game music is recorded in CD audio, so you aren't hampered by your sound card limitations. This was a real annoyance with the other Lemmings games. An explosion just isn't the same when you have to hear it through your PC speaker. Yuck. Simply put, if you liked the other Lemmings games, you'll love this one. Just because the controls are a bit more basic doesn't make it an easier game. Rest assured, it'll eat your brains.
And if you've never played Lemmings before, well, you'd still enjoy this one, I'm sure, but you really should start at the beginning anyway. You'll get a better idea of how far this originally simple concept has evolved. Besides, at this point, there's no such thing as a bad Lemmings game.